So here I am doing the poem of the day, and this poem is by Trevino L. Brings Plenty. And I say, notice the theme. I'm going to read the poem and then kind of read this extra information. It's called For the Sake of Beauty. On the phone, I asked her to wear a full buckskin outfit, and she could be the beauty that would make me steal horses. She said she didn't have a buckskin outfit. I said I would make her one, but use pages from books. A week later, when she came over to my place, she asked if I had made an outfit. I said no, I couldn't bring myself to hunt the books on my shelf, even if it were for food or clothing. I couldn't bring myself to kill, even for the sake of beauty. Okay, so we're going to talk about theme here. We've been talking a lot about structure and technique, but for this one, I want you to think about what he's trying to say here and what the point is. So I want you to look at this question. I say, what background information is helpful to know before you read this? Background information is what you've been building all through your elementary years and your middle years, and now you're really going to use it. Background information is crucial to why we teach students social studies and why we read so much and why we tell students watch the news and get all of this different information, because as you come to text, it's not just you and the text, it's also all of that background information that comes into your reading. So what if I told you that this author is a Lakota Native American who now lives in Portland, and that there used to be these stories that were told about Native boys who would steal horses or do these other kind of dangerous escapades in order to win the hearts of beautiful young girls? What if I told you that in these stories, natives always wore buckskin outfits, perhaps like in a movie like Dances with Wolves or Last of the Mohicans that you may have seen or may not have seen, but these kind of ideas that we have of Indigenous people in the United States? What if I told you that this like savage warrior is kind of this trope, and a trope is kind of this character that is built? Like if you watch TV shows, there's always like the athlete, and then there's like the funny person, and there's all of these very distincts. Well, the savage warrior was kind of a trope, was this character that was designed, even though in reality, no one is just one facet of something. So with knowing all of these things, how is this author retelling? So what do I mean by this? Well, let's read it again. On the phone, I asked her to wear a full buckskin outfit, and she could be the beauty that would make me steal horses. Right? So, and then she says, but she didn't have a buckskin outfit. He's saying like, oh, I wanted to do this wonderful thing that people do when they think about, Indigenous people and this or that. But guess what? She didn't have one, because like that's not exactly what happens. So he's bucking kind of this stereotype with this idea. Then he said, I'd make her one, but I use pages from a book, showing that like he is not what this story has been told of, perhaps living in a teepee or these other type of ideas, right? He's a writer. He uses pages of books. A week later, when she came over to my place, she asked me if I'd made an outfit. I said no. I couldn't bring myself to hunt the books on my shelf, even if it were for food or clothing. I couldn't bring myself to kill, even for the sake of beauty. And here he's really pushing that narrative of kind of this savage warrior that's out there, to see kind of this artist and to show the different facets that, of course, are in every people group, including this one. I thought this poem was appropriate because yesterday, or no, today, I guess, Monday, it was Indigenous Peoples Day, formerly known as Columbus Day, to celebrate all of the Indigenous people who are still kind of in this world making beautiful art, just like this poet here from Portland. So we're going to write our own. I'm always nervous to write my own, especially on camera. Okay, so here I gave you the little, fill in the blanks. And I tell you to think about a topic or a trope that you fit into, right? So I'm thinking of like a soccer mom, because that's kind of a trope I fit into, or maybe like a Portlander, or it could be a teacher even, right? It could be like, well, I said a mom, which is not really gender, but it's like I guess, a type within that. So think about all of those things that you are. And okay, here's mine, because you guys know I already do it this way, not the other way that I show you to do. So on the phone, I ask her to, I'm going to say bring her hydro flask. And she could be the beauty that would make me steal horses. No, and she could be And she could be the... I'm going to change that later, I think, but whatever. I don't like that idea of heels. She said she didn't have a hydro flask. So I'm playing on this idea, of course, of like Portlanders and their hydro flasks, and specifically the, whatever that girl was called, the basic girl from last year. You guys will know. If you were here, you would tell me. So I'm thinking the Visco girl, that's the one. I'm just gonna change it to the one with the Oregon sticker. You know the one, because it's pronounced Oregon when you live in Oregon, even though I pronounce it Oregon my entire life until I moved here. I said I would make her one, but use, I'm gonna say leaves from my trees, because I also think it's very Portlander that we would like make things out of leaves and trees. Oops, I do that every time. A week later, when she came over to play, she asked if I had made we'll say flask instead of hydro flask, because you can't really make a hydro flask out of leaves, but you can make a flask like to hold water in. I said no, I couldn't bring myself to, I think I'll leave hunt the leaves on my shelf, even if it were for, I'll say like survival, because water. I couldn't bring myself to maim, even for the sake of, I don't want to use survival twice. Maybe I will use the thesaurus. No? Explore survival? I don't know what it means when I push explore. I don't want the definition. Survival thesaurus. Let's see what other word I could put in there for survival. Durability, endurance, continuance, existence, sustenance. Maybe sustenance. Let's see. I think I'll use sustenance, except I can't spell it. Sustenance. Not. There we go. Yes, that's what I meant. I don't know if I like what I did here, because I feel like the point of the theme of the original poem was like not to buy into these stereotypes, but I feel like I wrote a poem that basically reinforced stereotypes. But that's my poem. I'm gonna read it over. On the phone, I asked her to bring her hydro flask, the one with the Oregon sticker. She said she didn't have a hydro flask. I said I would make her one, but use leaves from my trees. A week later, she came over to balance it. I said no, I could bring myself leaves, even though it's farewell. I couldn't bring myself to make, even for the sake of sustenance. Okay, mine's a little funny. Hopefully you make yours and it's wonderful, and we'll share them with each other. And I love doing these poems of the day, so they're exciting.